Hello and welcome to the Dark Mount video review for Transformers Generations Combiner Wars Dead End. Dead End is probably my second favorite in the Menasor group, and it's a mold we're going to see several times throughout the Combiner Wars. This is the weapon he comes with. It is a pipe. It also has a handle as if it should be some kind of gun, but it's like an exhaust thing, so I'm not really sure how that would be an effective weapon. So maybe this is supposed to be the handle? I don't know. It's pipe as far as I'm concerned. It can plug in that way for some tripping people action. It can store alongside on here. It can plug up on here. You can even plug it in the back here if you really want to do that for some reason. Unfortunately, there's not anywhere to store it underneath here. It's kind of a missed opportunity in these, but whatever. I do want to point out that there is an unpainted portion of plastic here for some reason. So before I continue, I do want to point out that for whatever reason the Hasbro version of this toy does have an unpainted strip of plastic here. It looks like a different type of plastic, like a palm plastic or something was used for this. It ends up being the elbow and kind of the arm swivel, so I don't really know if there's a reason for that or if it was just molded in a different set of plastic so they didn't paint it. I'm not entirely sure. Doesn't really bug me all that much. It just kind of blends in. There's definitely a lot of panel lining on here, so I mean, I guess it would have been nice if they'd painted this part and this part red to match, but I'll be perfectly honest, this is all molded red plastic, so I really highly doubt they would have been able to match the paint on there anyway, so it's a choice between it being gray and standing out or it being a different shade of maroon and standing out. Meh. The Takara version fixes this, but it also omits the toy-accurate stripe for a more show-accurate not stripe, so take it or leave it. Depends on what you want. This really doesn't bug me at all, and I much prefer having the stripe, so that plus price, obviously, I went with Hasbro. His undercarriage is also pretty decent. You can't tell all that much going on. Again, if you know what you're looking for, you can kind of tell what's going to happen here, but it's not super obvious, which is nice. Always appreciated. And he's definitely a good-looking car. Here he is with the Fans Project version of this figure. I gotta be honest, I love both of these sets. I've been having a really hard time trying to decide which I like more. They are both so good for different reasons. Here he is with Movie Ratchet and Prime Arachnid. Transformation is pretty super simple. Just come down here, gonna fold both of these out like that. Unfold that, kind of pegs in ish. Fold these out. Make sure the knees come all the way down. And then you want to match up this peg with this hole. And then spin this whole thing around like that. Once you are done there, you can come around back and just kind of press lightly down here, and that's going to let you pop this whole windshield section up. And then this whole bit right here, well, first, how am I going to explain this? There's two different ways that this folds down. The first way is just to fold it down like that, and that is for the combiner mode. So we're going to kind of ignore that for right now. So what you're going to want to do, though, is fold this down, and then these two pegs will meet up with those two holes, like so. And then that holds the whole platform with its head in place. And then you want to take this, and instead of folding it back, you want to kind of up and around it, whatever that's called. So you're not folding, you're Here, this thing. I don't know what that is called. Then you want to bring his arms up. They're on kind of secondary ratcheted pegs. And then pull his hands out, and his wrists are ratcheted for some reason. And there you have Dead End in his robot mode. So I tend to think he looks pretty fantastic in his robot mode. And he definitely looks good with his fence project self as well. So again, very different aesthetics. I'm actually very happy that they're so different. I don't mind owning both, because they are essentially nothing like each other. He has the same ability to hold his weapon and his foot handgun, but he has the same problem that Drag Strip has, in that all the arm stuff here prevents him from holding it underneath, so it ends up looking kind of hollow and not super great. So he doesn't really have anywhere to put it either, which is unfortunate. Again, you're kind of stuck attaching it to his arm up here. It was a valiant effort, Hasbro. Dead End's articulation is pretty good. He's a really tight ball joint in his head, but it can go all the way around. You don't get all that much movement up and down or side to side, unfortunately. So that's kind of meh. You have the transformation joint here. You also have a ball joint with like a pretty decent cut, especially with the door stuff on here. It doesn't hamper it as much as one would think it would. Then you have a diagonal arm swivel, which is kind of weird. It doesn't seem to be a problem, but I mean, I guess his arm kind of sits at an angle, so it turning diagonally is weird, but it's kind of weird. I don't know. It doesn't bug me, but it's strange. Then he has his elbow, which is a very good elbow. It's like a little bit more than 90 degrees. And then he has inward and outward ratcheted wrist movement for reasons. He has a waist rotation, ball joint, upper leg swivel, knee, and then no foot. But his feet are really, like, the area of his foot is huge, so he can hold a lot of really decent poses very easily. So that's nice. Big feet. Hooray for big feet. Big feet. Dum, dum, dum. So my final thoughts for this guy are very positive. He is basically my favorite or second favorite or tied for favorite or something in the Stunticon line with Breakdown. So, although I really do like Off-Road a lot too, and I actually really like Blackjack and Menasor, or not Menasor, Motormaster. So really Dragstrip is the only figure from the Stunticons that I am not, like, super hot on. I don't dislike him, but I'm just not as impressed. I really like this mold, and I like all the other molds, but this is definitely up there at the top of my list. If you are only planning on getting a couple, I would suggest that he be one of them. Yeah. He just looks cool. He oozes attitude, and I like that in my Decepticons. So he gets an A+. I'm very happy to have him. He was actually a gift, so that makes it even cooler. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.